What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the team that I've been running in Retro Cup pretty much all week. I've had nothing but positive sets with this team so far, so I've been having a lot of success with it, which is why I've been kind of keeping it a secret all week, because I wanted to see how much I could climb with this team. Since running this team, I've gained like almost 200 points, and as of today I'm 11th in the world running this team, so it's nice to see that this team has been working out so well, and it actually uses kind of an interesting Pokemon in this Retro Cup. So the team is ZANGOOSE in the lead, Defense Deoxys on the safe swap, and then Medicham in the back. So essentially double counter users in the back. This is a fairly straightforward ABB style team. And in this video, I will be talking about how to play a lot of these matchups. So if you're trying to make that last push for Legend or trying to gain some points, give this team a shot. I've been having a lot of success with it, and now I'm going to kind of share all my secrets on how these games have been going. So let's get right into the video here. So here's the team with the movesets and the IVs on the screen there. You can see my Defense Deoxys is running Rock Slide and Psycho Boost. I do think that this moveset is required on Defense Deoxys, but the Medicham moveset definitely could potentially be up for debate there. This team is slightly weak to Altaria, so having the Ice Punch on Medicham is very nice, but I can definitely see a case to be made for running Power Up Punch if you're able to switch lock your Medicham against those Lick users. So the thought process behind this team, ZANGOOSE catches a good amount of positive leads in the Retro Cup meta. We see a lot of Psychic type users, we see a lot of Lick normal users, and we see a lot of Ghost types, and ZANGOOSE has play against all of those things. ZANGOOSE is obviously going to struggle against counter users, so Defense Deoxys and Medicham in the back are both Pokemon that can beat opposing counter users, and you do have play against Altaria with the Rock Slide on Defense Deoxys and the Ice Punch on the Medicham, but this team does have essentially a double weakness to like Ghost type attacks and like Frostlass in the back, so you will see me swapping out of a lot of lead matchups. If I don't hard win the lead, I'm going to go into that Defense Deoxys and try to bait out a potential Frostlass. So let's jump right into these battles here, and I'll kind of talk through some of these games here. So Barrel in the lead is not good. I have two better responses in the back. I'm going to go straight into my Defense Deoxys. Now Cresselia, this is actually a relatively neutral matchup for Defense Deoxys. I'm throwing these Rock Slides immediately because I don't want to potentially get debuffed by the Moonblast and then throw a debuffed Rock Slide. If essentially in this game, if I win Switch Advantage, there's a really good chance that I'm going to win this game, because having Medicham lined up against that Barrel is going to be really strong for me. So I'm over farming here, no extra Psycho Cut goes through, that's very positive for me. And I just need to get to this Rock Slide right here. This Cresselia should barely survive this Rock Slide, and it does, but they don't get to another move, and that's huge. So I've regained Switch Advantage, but Frostlass with loaded energy is very scary. I really should have thrown the Psycho Boost there, but I thought I could potentially get to Rock Slide. That was not the case. Luckily, the Shadow Claws from ZANGOOSE are really going to add up. Now, I stayed in there and farmed up a little bit more to try to counteract that energy advantage that I know that Frostlass has in the back. And so I'm able to get my Medicham on this Barrel. I'm not even going to shield this. I'm actually going to save my shield for my ZANGOOSE, because that's a perfect amount of Shadow Claw farm range. And I essentially need to rip off 3 Night Slashes here, and so by just doing pure counter damage with my Medicham, it put the Barrel in a perfect farm down range, which allowed me to get to 3 Night Slashes here, and I'm going to be able to take out the Frostlass. ZANGOOSE does win CMP against a lot of Pokemon, and so you can really farm up a bunch and then guarantee that you'll be able to get off that move there. Good game. Politoed in the lead, kind of an awkward lead because it's neutral all around. So I was over farming there in case they tried to throw on the CMP tie for close combat. I over farmed by 1, I ripped the close combat, and then I'm going to immediately swap. They're throwing energy here, I'm totally fine with that. I fully expect them to eventually make a move into another Pokemon. They're most likely trying to get me in a health range where they can potentially bring in a Lick user and farm me down. They actually bring out Cresselia here. Okay, that's fine. Our switch clocks are very out of sync. And it's a Confusion Cresselia. So at this point, I'm recognizing that my opponent is going to try to commit to confusioning me down here. But I'm going to be able to rip off so many rock slides here. If I get both shields in this matchup, that's absolutely insane. But I'm trying to get to this Psycho Boost, and my opponent recognizes it, so they throw energy. Very smart play on their part. This will be a decent amount of farm for my ZANGOOSE. And they actually give up switch advantage there once again. Switch back into the Politoed. And so I'm going to switch into my Medicham and farm this thing down. I know the Cresselia potentially still has a move stored. They were very heavily overfarmed. I farm this down. What is in the back? They bring out Cresselia, and they either overtapped or didn't get to the move that they wanted to. But at this point, the game is over. And this is a move that I like to call playing dumb. I'm intentionally just going straight Ice Punch. I'm not even baiting the Psychic here, because I want my opponent to not shield, and then I just Shadow Claw them down and there's nothing they can do. So this is a kind of a fun strategy I like to do sometimes when I can recognize that I can just fast move down a Pokemon. I just throw the bait move over and over and over and over again, and if they don't shield, it's even better for me. If they do shield, it feels bad for my opponent because they have to shield a crappy move. So good game there. ZANGOOSE into Deoxys, not ideal. I cannot immediately mirror here, so I'm going to throw a Night Slash. It's unlikely that they're going to throw a Psycho Boost immediately here, so I'm going to throw a Night Slash and then immediately mirror with my own Deoxys. Defense Deoxys is always the safe swap in this lineup, specifically for this matchup right here against Frostlass. The Rock Slides really threaten Frostlass, and if your opponent gets too greedy, you can either flip this matchup or burn both shields, which is amazing. I do correctly shield up the Shadow Ball. If they went Avalanche there, I would have been able to survive it, but I'm going to be able to get to a Psycho Boost here. Most likely get a shield. I do get a shield, and I'm at another Psycho Boost, so I'm either going to get 2 shields or win Switch Advantage. And winning Switch Advantage here is not necessarily the thing that I really want to do. I more so want to burn all the shields and then set my ZANGOOSE up for a farm down. I know that I'm going to get hit by a move from the Frostlass, but they actually gave up Switch Advantage, and now I'm going to go immediately into my Medicham and going to absorb a lot of damage here. Now, I really want to save my shield from my ZANGOOSE because I'm thinking that it might have play against whatever's in the back. So I am farming, and getting hit by all of these Psycho Boosts, but I really don't want to shield, and I don't want to give that Frostlass any more farm. So I let another Psycho Boost go through here, and I barely survive. So now I'll throw the Ice Punch, and I will only give the Frostlass 1 Powder Snow worth of farm, but I'm going to instant swap anyways. And it's actually a Lantern in the back. So I do need to be careful of the sacrificial swap. But most likely, I know the Frostlass is very close to a move, so I'm over farming here. And when they bring out the Frostlass again, I need to rip off that Night Slash, because I cannot afford to get hit by a move here. Potentially I could have farmed down, but I was just playing it safe. I also boosted here, which didn't really make that much of a difference, but it's kind of hilarious. I'm going to be able to throw this close combat and take out the Lantern in the back. Good game. ZANGOOSE absolutely going off. All right, very good lead. I need to make sure that I maintain Switch Advantage no matter what. Yikes, Talonflame is tough for this team, so I will stay in with ZANGOOSE. And I will throw another Night Slash, but I need to guarantee that I at least save a little bit of health on my ZANGOOSE to handle the Mew. So I'm going to immediately swap like this, and I know that it was a Flame Charge, so I will let this go through. And I know the Mew is going to come in and get a lot of farm off of me. So even if this is Brave Bird, well, I do end up shielding this, but I want as much farm as possible. I'm able to farm this down because I know the Mew is coming back in, and I really want to be able to rip 2 Rock Slides here. If my opponent tries to farm me all the way down, I will get to at least another Psycho Boost. So I'm going to throw that Rock Slide. They're trying to farm me down, but Deoxys gets there. Are they going to commit their last shield? They totally let it go, and in the back is Primeape. Medicham absolutely shuts this down, and that's a good game right there. Able to safely handle that Talonflame switch in. Dugong in the lead. This game was absolutely insane. We both swap at the exact same time. So What does this tell you? My opponent is most likely running double dragon, right? Why else would they swap out of a neutral lead? And what did I just inform my opponent based on my swap? I'm most likely running double counter because I also had a neutral lead. And so this match is pretty hilarious because we both, me and my opponent, which by the way is Jason, he's a content creator on Twitch, really talented battler. We're both kind of hard predicting what the other person might have. And I even got baited on the Aquatail on that first move, which is really bad for me because as you will see, switch advantage in this matchup was everything. Switch advantage was everything. I was really hoping by some miracle I would have survived that Dragon Pulse barely. But I have to keep both Pokemon alive because the Dugong is going to debuff me a bunch. And I need to get this last shield burned right here so I can get to this Ice Punch. But my opponent is so smart. They don't shield it because they know they survive. And this is very bad because we know that the Altaria is going to get to Sky Attack. And then the Dugong is far too healthy. Very, very nice play by my opponent. If I would have played the secondary matchup differently, it potentially would have been a different scenario here. My Zangoose really didn't have a lot of play. I essentially needed Medicham to take care of both that Altaria and this Dugong, which means I needed to save the shield for it, but because of the current alignment, there was just no way that was going to happen. So very nice play by my opponent. Good game. Zangoose into Gyarados. Fairly neutral matchup. I don't want to stay in this the whole time. I also totally lag in the beginning, and so I miss out on like 1.5 Shadow Claws. Unfortunate, but that's okay. Just going to throw this Night Slash and insta-swap to my Deoxys. And they threw fairly quickly here, so I anticipated it being an Aquatail. And I'm farming. They don't seem to be switching out, so maybe my Deoxys will have some play, but they just threw an Aquatail again. And they bring out a Goodra. Oh my gosh. Maybe should have thrown Rock Slide on this first one. Definitely should have thrown Rock Slide on the first one. But I'm just going to go straight for the Psycho Boost here. And I will get farmed down, which is unfortunate. I've seen 2 Dragon Breath users already. Is there a 3rd Dragon Breath user? The opponent does not even get to a move there. I'm very surprised. Out comes Gyarados. I'm just going to throw Ice Punch right away. And they let it go. And it is a Dragon Breath user. Thank goodness it's Kingdra and not Altaria. Oh my gosh. Once again, I'm just going straight for the Ice Punch here. Don't even need to bait the Psychic because the counter damage is adding up so much that I just got to burn these shields. I do get debuffed there. For some reason I build up the Psychic here. Honestly, I could continue to just throw the Ice Punches even with the debuff because I get the last shield there, and then that is going to be Night Slash range, and I should be able to cleanly take out this Kingdra there. Thank goodness it was Kingdra and not an Altaria. That would have been very, very rough. All right, Lickitung in the lead. So sometimes your opponents will get smart and throw on the CMP tie, which it takes. This is exactly what some people will do. So I did not throw immediately. I tanked that Body Slam. I farm up a little bit more. I don't have back-to-back close combats here, but I don't want to stay in this matchup. I need to bait out a Frostlass. And my opponent, very surprisingly, immediately switches their Medicham as well. I don't think this was in response to my swap. I think that they just decided to instant swap that. So I'm wondering if they are also running double counter users. I'm throwing Rock Slide here because I don't want to debuff my counters, but potentially continuing to go Psycho Boost might be a better play. Definitely going to be throwing Psycho Boost from here on out, but I don't want to drop my attack, so I am farming up as much as possible. Plus, I know that the Lickitung is going to come in and get some more farm, so I want minimal health anyways. And we'll see if my opponent shields this or if they let it go. I still have a lot of energy stored on my Zangoose. I'm like 1 away from a close combat, and I'm up a shield. Plus, I can just bring out my Medicham onto this Lickitung, and things are looking pretty good. Still a chance that they could have a Frostlass in the back, so I'm farming, because I was expecting them to switch out at some point. So I will have to throw a move eventually on this. And there's the swap. It's actually into a Deoxys, which is kind of awkward for me. I'm going to chip it with this Ice Punch and then go straight into my Zangoose. I need to get to 2 Night Slashes here. I believe I'm 4 away, and I'm able to get there. This is going to do a good amount of damage, and one more Shadow Claw will also help me with this. Because now they're in Ice Punch range, and because I have that Ice Punch stored, I'm going to throw it immediately. And this is just enough to take out the Deoxys. They're not even able to throw a move. And at that point, my opponent knows that it is good game. Good game there. I'm showcasing all of the battles that I've recorded with this team. There are losses in this video, folks. I did not just showcase only my wins here. But like I said, I've only had positive sets with this team so far. I'm sure after this video that will change. That is always the case when I release these videos kind of going on deep dives into my teams. But I know it really benefits you all out there that are curious as to what teams I'm running and how to play them. I know it really helps a lot of people out. So my Deoxys definitely has a significant health disadvantage here, but I did have a lot of energy stored. So I'm just going to continue to throw rock slides here. And looking at their health, it looks like one more rock slide would be enough to knock them out. So I do shield here. I want to try to fight for switch a little bit and see what they want to do. They do shield, so I'm going to immediately switch into my Medicham, and they bring their Dragonair back out. Most likely this is just an Aqua Tail, so I let it go. I did not want my DD to be farmed down, so I preserved it with a little bit of health. I can potentially get to a Psycho Boost late game. It's a Crustle! It's a Crustle! This is very good from my Medicham. I'm just going straight Psychic, and they no shield. That definitely puts me ahead. I'm just going to throw this Ice Punch and not let them get off a move. See what they want to do. And they let it go. This game's pretty much over. They are throwing energy here, but just save the shield for ZANGOOSE and safely get to Shadow Claw them down, and we will take that game there. Good game. Alright. Altaria leads, I don't win these too frequently. So people that lead Altaria are weak to Frostlass, so typically they have some anti-Frostlass in the back, which sometimes are lick users. But oftentimes, even though my backline in theory should be able to align with them okay, I still have to make this move to potentially bait out a Frostlass or a ghost type like this. Because if I just stay in with ZANGOOSE, that's a losing matchup for ZANGOOSE. And if there's like a Mew or a Psychic type or a ghost type sitting in the back and I don't bait it out with Defense Deoxys, I just automatically lose that game. So Altaria leads really don't leave me a lot of wiggle room on where I can go. So I'm able to farm down the Marowak, which is really good for me. Most likely the Altaria is coming back in, and I gotta start ripping these Night Slashes. I'm one Shadow Claw away from another Night Slash, so I'm just gonna throw it. If they shield this, I need to make a move into Medicham and try to counter down. They let it go. This is over. Talonflame in the back, double shields. Amazing play by my opponent. Saving both shields for their Talonflame, really rough for me. Alright, another lick user in the lead. Avoid the CMP tie. I actually waited half a second before clicking on this close combat to guarantee that this would not be CMP. And then I just insta-swap into my Deoxys. And they bring out their Cresselia. Their Snorlax is essentially dead without any energy, because that close combat did so much to the Snorlax. But I am at a health disadvantage in this matchup, and the fact that Cresselia is their best response to Deoxys leads me to believe that potentially there's no Frostlass or Mew in the back, but there's always still the risk that there could be that in the back. So I just need to set my ZANGOOSE up for a very hefty farm here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to allow them to Psycho Cut me down. I'm just going to swap right into the ZANGOOSE, continuing to try to operate on an energy advantage. And it is a Frostlass in the back. Thank goodness I swapped and got an energy advantage here, because I'm just going to start ripping off these Night Slashes. And I'm able to successfully deny these Powder Snows here. And I will be able to get to this next Night Slash here. ZANGOOSE wins CMP. And it alternates between 5 and 4 Shadow Claws for the Night Slash here. ZANGOOSE is very spammy. No boost on any of those, but it doesn't matter. This game is absolutely over. I farm this down, and then I have a move stored for the Snorlax. Good game. No Medicham needed in that battle there. Alright, Crustle lead. I have 2 better responses to this in the back, but my opponent actually switches out first, and I was very shocked by this. So, again, why would they switch out of a neutral lead if they don't have to? It's because they're most likely running Double Dragon, right? And they're trying to bait out a Frostlass so they can farm it down with their Crustle. I get hit by a Dragon Pulse, that really sucks, but I am up in shields, so I am fully anticipating an Altaria in the back or some sort of other Dragon Breath user. I do have a shield advantage, which that's going to be very good for my Medicham. I'm throwing the Rock Slide here because it does hit for super effective. Rock does not resist Rock, so even though I'm debuffed, I get some nice chip damage here. I have to bring in Medicham and start farming like crazy to try to get Ice Punches for the potential Dragon in the back. No need to shield the first X Scissor, but they most likely will throw 2 before swapping. There's the Altaria, so we called it correctly right off the bat. My opponent was also running an ABB line, which in theory, their ABB line definitely has a lot more play against mine, but because I was able to get that shield advantage with ZANGOOSE, Medicham is going to be able to go off on this Altaria. Able to get to that Ice Punch, and then I'm just going to immediately swap to the ZANGOOSE, beat them to the Night Slash, avoid getting hit by a move, and we are in a very good spot here. I even get the boost here, which again was totally unnecessary because I was going to be able to get to this Night Slash anyways, which would have done enough to knock out the Crustle there. Plus I still had shield and a double boost at the end. Oh my gosh, ZANGOOSE, that is just bad manners. Good game. Alright, I have 2 better responses in the back, so I immediately go. Even though it's a neutral lead, they're staying in. No Frostlass has come out, no Cresselia has come out. I get hit by a Stone Edge, that really hurts. They bring out Hypno. This is such a smart play on their part because they put me in like perfect confusion downrange. But the fact that I bait out this Hypno here is very nice because my Medicham gets to avoid it. And not able to get to a Psycho Boost. Unfortunate for me. This is really rough because ZANGOOSE obviously does not resist the confusion damage. No Shadow Claw goes through upon entry. Very bad. These Thunder Punches are chunking. So I actually catch a Thunder Punch on my Medicham because I wanted to preserve my ZANGOOSE, but it is not looking good for me. It is a Frostlass in the back, and they did not take my original bait with the Deoxys, so this is just an absolutely terrible scenario. If I would have stayed in with ZANGOOSE, shielded, farmed the Hypno all the way down, I'm still not in that great of a spot because the confusions will have done so much at that point in time. So I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can here, but extra Powder Snow goes through, and the fast move pressure from any Pokemon on my ZANGOOSE is just too much to handle. And I think my opponent even switches right here. Yeah, amazing play. I got absolutely destroyed in this matchup. Very, very nice play by my opponent. Yeah, the farm down that they did with the Hypno just put me in a totally unwinnable scenario there. Alright, another Graveler in the lead, gonna insta-swap the Deoxys. And now they bring out their Cresselia. So all they did was Volt Switch damage on me. They did not throw a move. They have given me potential to win Switch advantage here. Oh man, there are definitely a couple games in this video that we will see where I was just kicking myself for hours because it was such a straightforward win scenario, but I threw the game by overthinking the win con. So you saw me shield the first move, and that's because most likely people go Moonblast on the first one, and it just gives me the highest potential to be able to try to win Switch here. Gonna throw this Rock Slide. They no shield it, and then I think I make a terrible play here. I should have just shielded that. Should have double shielded farm down, because Medicham is such a wall to that Graveler. All the energy that they have is not going to go anywhere. It's Talonflame in the back. Oh man, this is the game. This is the game that I think I'm still upset about. So I get the shield right there. I swap into ZANGOOSE, and I call a Flame Charge, which I do survive. I'm able to get this Night Slash off, which is very good for me. And my opponent commits their shield right there. Now look at this. All I need to do is go for the Psychic. All I need to do is go for the Psychic here. What am I doing? I knew that they were going to Brave Bird me, and I knew that I could easily get there. I live a Stone Edge. Man, I completely threw that game. I could have either double shielded in the secondary matchup or just not played like an idiot at the end there. But good games to my opponent. That game, that game was a heartbreak. So my opponent farms with their Altaria and then switches into a Lick user. So once again, my Deoxys has a lot of stored energy in this matchup. Body slams are definitely going to hurt. I'm most likely going to lose switch advantage here. If I can get to a Psycho Boost, that's amazing, and they let me get there. That's huge. I will either... And this is actually more so what I want, because winning switch here does nothing for me, but getting a shield advantage, definitely more beneficial. I'm going to bring out my ZANGOOSE here, because this is going to be a good amount of farm, and I really hope they don't get to another body slam, because they have energy stored on their Altaria. So I'm able to farm it down. That's good for me. Out comes the Altaria. I'm wondering if there's a Frostlass in the back. I got the boost there, which this was actually game-changing, because this is going to allow me to burn their final shield with this Night Slash, and then I can swap into my Medicham with a shield advantage and see what they got going on in the back. They're staying in because they want to burn my final shield. Makes sense. So I'll shield this up. I'm farming. They're continuing to stay in, so I'm just going to throw this Ice Punch and get rid of this Altaria. What is in the back? It is a ZANGOOSE, and I know that I survived this Night Slash, but I'm just going to throw the Ice Punch, which arguably is a mistake. I should have went for the Psychic because I knew that I would have gotten to it, plus Ice Punch doesn't even KO, but I'm still able to take that game anyways. Good game. That was an Altaria lead, definitely a tough game. Medicham lead, absolutely terrible. I still go into Deoxys here. I do not mirror, and again, it's because of this Frostlass matchup. I can either burn shields or flip switch advantage, but more so what I'm looking to do here is burn shields and set my ZANGOOSE up for a farm down. I love when my opponents do this. When they throw Avalanche like this, it's a huge mistake, because I'm going to get a shield off of them no matter what. And if they try to Powder Snow me down, I'm going to get to another Psycho Boost. So they have to throw. They can't farm me all the way down. I'm up in shields. And I'm going to be able to get a farm with my ZANGOOSE now. I will get hit by a move, unfortunate, so I do need to shield this up. If this was their best response to Deoxys, hopefully they don't have like a super good response to a Medicham in the back. I'm going to throw this Night Slash and then make a move into my Medicham and see what they got going on back there. They're staying in, and they're farming a lot, so I'm just going to go straight for this Psychic and see what they want to do. They do shield, so they are very weak to this in the back. I'm wondering if they have a Lick user, like a... Oh, it's actually, they have their own ZANGOOSE. They do throw right away, which is good for me. I cannot shield this because then their Medicham farms me down. So instead, I will bring in my ZANGOOSE. I'm able to get this Night Slash off. This will be just enough to knock out their ZANGOOSE, and because of all the counter damage that I did with my Medicham, the Shadow Claw damage plus the Night Slash damage will be just enough to take out this Medicham. And the counter went through right here, so I was very, very nervous. I was like, please be enough to KO, and it was just enough. Able to win that game. Medicham lead, kind of rough, but this team was designed to handle that. Deoxys lead, I always chip with Night Slash, and then I mirror, because this Shadow Claw plus Night Slash damage is very, very nice. And any energy they throw on my Deoxys here just puts me at an advantage. They bring in their Lickitung. That's totally fine by me. I'm once again wondering if there's not a Frostlass in the back, because typically when you safe swap a Psychic type like this, if there is a Frostlass in the back, people will bring out the Frostlass. But a lot of my opponents are getting wise to how I play this line, And I have played the same opponents a decent amount of times over and over and over again, so they are catching on. This is really nice farm. I'm actually just going to bring out my Medicham to safely absorb this damage. And if it is a Frostlass in the back, I know that my Zangoose is going to have the most play. So I absorb the Body Slam, I farm down with Zangoose. Let's see what they want to do. They bring out the Deoxys again. I'm definitely thinking that Zangoose is going to have some play against the back line. They shield that. Let's go, Zangoose. Able to get to this Night Slash. Do they double shield? Do they double shield? No. It's another Lick User. And I'm going to be able to get to this close combat and either almost one-shot this or draw the last shield. And I still have my Medicham. There goes the last shield. And this is looking really good for Medicham. Up 2 shields. Licky does learn Shadow Ball, so I did shield that first one. Honestly, I'm just going to double shield everything here and then safely get to this Psychic and counter down before they can get to a Shadow Ball. Yeah, my opponent had double Lick Users and I had double counter users, so definitely favorable alignment for me there. Good game. Zangoose into Hypno, not as favorable of a lead as you might think because these confusions really chunk. I'm going to throw in the middle of the confusion to try to avoid them sneaking an extra one in. And my opponent switches into a Lickitung right at the same moment that I was going to try to catch a punch on my Deoxys. So this is not ideal. Ideally, I would have got my Medicham against this, but that's okay. If I can walk out of this with a shield advantage, we're looking good. But I know that they still have that Hypno with stored energy, which is not great. So I will shield this up because a switch advantage is very important to me. I don't want my Medicham to be on that Hypno, even though it is fairly low. I just don't want to see that matchup. So they bring out Hypno here, and they throw some energy. Very nice for me. If it's a punch, I think I survive. And I do, and I'm able to get to this Psycho Boost. That's huge. So I throw the Psycho Boost, and in the back is Babarrel. So I think I bring in my Zangoose to burn a shield, and then I just go into my Medicham, and this is absolutely good game. Medicham totally shreds this Beaver here, and my opponent knows it. Good game. Zangoose into Pelipper. Whoa! Not super great for me. This is what I consider a neutral matchup, so I will not stay in it the whole time. Gonna chip with the Night Slash and then probably make a move right there. Yep, exactly. Now they are at Hurricane Energy, but I'm just gonna let this go. If they Hurricane me, that's fine. They are just gonna go straight Weather Ball here, it looks like, and they are doing a lot of chip damage, so I kind of need to start throwing something on this Pelipper. So I'll throw the Psycho Boost, see what they want to do. And they they actually swapped Medicham right there. I didn't even see the notification. Very unfortunate. If this Medicham tries to farm me down, I will get to 4 Psycho Boosts, which is definitely doing a lot of damage. And then I can safely bring... I'm actually just going to insta-swap my Medicham here. I do not want them to continuously farm like this. Most likely a Psychic right here. What a bait by my opponent. What a play. Very, very nice bait. But they let their Medicham go down. So what is in the back? It's a Frostlass. And I'm going to do the same tactic here. I'm going to instant throw Ice Punch. And my opponent knows that this is Ice Punch, but they have no choice but to shield this, because otherwise they're going to be low enough to where my Zangoose can just Shadow Claw down. So I'm going to bring out my Zangoose here. Ideally, if I can catch a move on my Deoxys, that's going to put me pretty far ahead. So I'm going to be able to get off this Night Slash. I'm keeping track of my opponent's energy. And there's the Avalanche, folks. Able to successfully pull off the catch. They probably no-bubble this. Nope, they actually charged it just enough. And they bring out the Pelipper. So I will throw this Night Slash. And then I know that I can Shadow Claw down the Frostlass before they get to a move. Good game. Zangoose into Lickitung. And I missed like a Shadow Claw and a half there off the start again. So it's very annoying when that happens. I went past the close combat again to try to avoid forcing CMP, but My opponent saved their energy and they brought out their Frostlass here. So this is what is supposed to happen. I really enjoy when my opponents throw Avalanche here because it's a big misplay. But my opponent here was very smart. They threw Shadow Ball. And I most likely am going to get hit by a move on my ZANGOOSE, which is not great because I have to shield this. Their Lickitung has a Body Slam loaded. I do win CMP, so I'm anticipating them bringing out the Lickitung, and they do. And I'm just going to blind throw the Night Slash here. I do get a shield, and it was a CMP tie. So I shield the Power Whip, but look what's in the back. Talonflame, and I am without shields. And so this is absolutely good game because this thing is going to be able to Brave Bird my Medicham. Talonflame in the back definitely was a nightmare, but if I let my ZANGOOSE go and brought out my Medicham and correctly called a Flame Charge bait, like there was still play here, but it was going to be very, very challenging. I was hoping that ZANGOOSE would have had a little bit more play against what was in the back, but my opponent played that very well. Good game. Couple more battles here. ZANGOOSE. Oh, these Altaria leads are tough. I don't win these very frequently. Gonna swap Deoxys. People typically don't have a hard punish to this, so I really need to land a Rock Slide on this Altaria. That's the goal right here, to put them in a more manageable health range for either my Medicham or my ZANGOOSE, depending on what gets aligned with that. I get a shield. Good for me. I'm gonna get farmed down by this Lickitung. Terrible for me. Absolutely terrible. So bad. But I will at least set myself up for maybe a farm with my Medicham, because then I will have some Ice Punches to threaten the Altaria. I will probably have to shield up one of these Body Slams. Oh my gosh. This Lickitung had so much energy. And they're going to get to one more Body Slam here, folks. This is not great, but I need this energy. I need the Ice Punch energy. They let me farm them. What is in the back? A barrel. And so I throw Psychic onto this, and I fell right into their trap. They were just trying to burn my energy so their Altaria has more play. I needed to save that Ice Punch energy. But even then, it was going to be very, very tough. Because the only way I take out this Altaria is either with these Ice Punches or if I magically boost on this next one. They're definitely going to commit their shield here because their barrel is pretty low. There goes the shield. No boost for me. This Night Slash is not going to do enough. But I'm able to Shadow Claw down, which is nice. But all that did was give the barrel more farm. And I'm not able to get to a move. So close. Very nice play by my opponent. That was a tough team for me to come back from. So you can see, like, a lot of my opponent's backlines have been... On paper, my backline would have play against it, but I cannot run the risk of there being a potential Mew or Ghost type in the back. And so that's why I consistently go for the Defense Deoxys safe swap here. My opponent catches on Lickitung. Nice play by them. Even though in a lot of these games, if I would have stayed in with ZANGOOSE against the Altaria, technically I probably would have won that game based on alignment, but there's no way of absolutely knowing what your opponent has in the back. And I've run into team comps before where they have a Mew or they have a Ghost type in the back, and because I didn't bait it out, then I just auto lose the game. So that's why you see me swapping out a lot with this ZANGOOSE, because I gotta bait out that Ghost type. So I'm able to farm up a bunch here. It's a Magcar Go. So I farmed up way too much energy because I couldn't decide how I wanted to play this. I was very surprised by the Magcar Go. My opponent's gonna let all of this stuff go through and most likely just save the shield for the Magcar Go. That's the smart play, because then they can just one-shot me with Overheat. And my opponent knows it. If I would have made a faster swap into my... ZANGOOSE and not given this Magcar Go that much farm, I definitely think there was a win con there, especially since I was able to successfully bait that move. Potentially would have been able to get to the Psychic there, but very nice play by my opponent. All right, Deoxys lead once again. Going to chip this with a Night Slash. And then mirror with my own Deoxys. And they bring out Mew. Okay, this is exactly why I need to make this play. A lot of Mews are running Dragon Claw in this meta because of how many Dragon Breath users there are. I've also seen some Mews running Dark Pulse, but regardless, I'm never going to shield this. And most likely going to get a shield advantage out of the secondary matchup, which is amazing because I'm going to be able to farm this with my ZANGOOSE anyways. And they throw energy here because I was going to get to a Psycho Boost. Super great for me. So I will shield once, farm down. I get baited with Dragon Claw. It's okay. They give up switch advantage, and so I immediately catch on my Medicham. I catch a Rock Slide that's really great. It's essentially wasted energy for them. Now, once again, I know I'm going to get hard farmed by this Mew. So I don't want a lot of health here. So I'm going to get hit by all of these Psycho Boosts. Because I do not want to give that Mew any farm. And they were going to get to another Psycho Boost, so I do throw right here. The Mew is low. They bring it back out. I throw the Ice Punch. What is in the back? My switch clock is up, so I'm going to blind switch. It's Altaria in the back. No, I definitely lose this. Altaria is tough for the backline for sure. Good game to my opponent. Beautiful lead. They're staying in. So a lot of teams are double or sometimes triple weak to ZANGOOSE. They are fully sacking their Frostlass, and I got a boost. So I have a feeling this ZANGOOSE is about to go off. Out comes Lit Leo. I'm going to bait them here. I'm going to go for the Night Slash. It sucks having to switch out of this matchup to clear the boost, but I will switch into my Medicham here. Because Medicham has the worst matchup against the Frostlass. And I really wanted to be able to farm that thing down, but I'm not able to. So I will shield this and save this energy. Their Frostlass is extremely low. So they bring it out. Thank you very much for the free energy. And what is in the back? It is a Lick user, and my team absolutely destroys double normal in the back. I land a Psychic. I'm going to go for an Ice Punch here. I have energy stored on my ZANGOOSE still, but I'm just going to insta-swap Deoxys here. There's really nothing my opponent can do. I'm close to a Night Slash on ZANGOOSE, and I win CMP. They have to land 2 more Body Slams plus all this Lick damage, and so they know it. Good game. I think this is the final battle of the video. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Longer video because I just wanted to showcase a lot of different matchup scenarios on how I play this team to kind of give you an idea of how you might be able to play it. I'm going to switch into my Deoxys here. I'm very surprised that they shielded their Medicham. I need to preserve my ZANGOOSE for their Drift Blame at all costs. And this Deoxys against Medicham matchup is fairly favorable for Deoxys, even though I'm not running Thunderbolt. That's totally fine. I'm going to throw a Psycho Boost here, and then probably farm some more, and then rip off double Psycho Boost. Yes, I intentionally want to get hit by energy from the Medicham to leave my Deoxys low so the Drift Blame does not get as much health. I know they're going to let the Medicham go, so I'm just going to throw that, and they actually take me out. So I play that a little too risky, because out comes Abomasnow, and I chose the wrong Pokemon. I had to make a guess, and I went into ZANGOOSE, so I'm just going to blind throw this close combat, and it one-shots it, and out comes the Drift Blame. I'm actually going to store a Night Slash before getting out of here. I'm going to swap the Medicham here. Medicham's dead weight. I'm just going straight Ice Punch. I'm either going to burn the shield and win the game that way, or they can Shadow Ball me here and I'll get to double Night Slash and win the game that way. They went for an Icy Wind bait, so this game is pretty much over. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you do appreciate these videos. Best of luck out there with the Retro Cup. I really enjoy this meta. There's a lot of fun picks that you can use. And so continue trying your best and trying to make that final push for legend if you're getting close. But I will catch you all in the next video right as this Zangoose takes out the balloon there. Good game. I'll see y'all later.